Hello beautiful people, welcome to another Witchy Weed Wednesday, and we're here with this lovely little dichotomy of very different plants with very similar names that happen to pop up underneath my deck this year with my one single, very sad chamomile that replanted itself spontaneously in a different place in my garden, so I left it alone. But anyway, these two. So what you have underneath here is this little specimen, or a collection thereof, of broad-leaved nightshade or enchanter's nightshade, and next to it is bittersweet or climbing nightshade. It's interesting because neither of these two things are the belladonna that you think about when you're thinking of nightshade, and even though they share a common part of their name in the nightshade regard, they're not even from the same plant family. Climbing nightshade shares the same family as belladonna, and it's very easily characterized by sharing the same kind of flower structure that your tomato plants have at home, which look distinctly like somebody has taken an umbrella and turned it inside out while holding on to the staff of it. You can kind of imagine that in your head and look at these flowers. This is the biggest ID characteristic you're going to find in Solanaceae, which is the family the actual belladonna is in, as is climbing or bittersweet nightshade, which is this guy with its deep purple flowers. It'll have red or black berries and rich woody vines that climb all over everything. Now this guy, being broadleafed or enchanter's nightshade, this is Cercea luteana. It's actually part of the Onygraceae or evening primrose family, and it shares a family with any of you who happen to have fuchsia as a plant, maybe hanging on your porch or on your deck or somewhere else ornamentally in your yard. And a characteristic of Onygraceae, if you can see, is that the petals, the flowers, have 4 petals and 4 stamens. And that is one of your easiest characterizations you can find, again, really focused on the flowers of those two families. Now, as far as medicinally speaking, there's not really much to be said about the properties of enchanter's nightshade medicinally. It's not poisonous in the same way that belladonna is. Neither of them are. Bittersweet nightshade is slightly poisonous. It's more likely to make you throw up far before it will do anything lasting to your body. It has caused livestock losses in places where livestock, for whatever reason, have eaten unnecessary amounts of it, as some of them are wont to do. Enchanter's nightshade is not poisonous. It just has really high tannins, meaning that it's extremely bitter, so you would not want to eat it. But magically, these two, in sharing that same similar name, have been adopted as, or do for a lot of reasons, have some similar characteristics to belladonna. Now, in that regard, if you think of a plant that you want for hex work or control work or something to do with having an advantage over an adversary for whatever reason, and there are legitimate reasons to have these things, if you look at the seeds of Enchanter's Nightshade, Enchanter's Nightshade grows in the dark and hidden places. It grew hiding underneath my deck, just barely poking out. I hardly see it because its friend over here almost ate it. But it is a plant that thrives in this unseen and unnoticed. And the way that it spreads its seeds are these little burry, sticky guys. If you can see the little hairs coming off of there. So anybody brushing past this is going to pick it up and have it be stuck to their clothes without necessarily noticing it until it gets to a point where it's very inconvenient. And so in spaces where maybe you need to be subversive for your own survival or advantage, this is a great plant ally to work with to conquer things in that regard. Now, similar is its cousin over here, which is bittersweet nightshade. And this plant is a lot more overt in what it does, being overtly toxic, not as much as this belladonna, as we would like to think about when we think of nightshade. It is pretty, you can see it's growing through my deck because I have not afforded it enough place growing on the side of these boxes. Bittersweet nightshade is indomitable. It will climb through any obstacle that you can give it. It is the plant that moves boards or finds the cracks in cement so that it may survive and thrive in whatever space is available to it. And if you are in a space where you need to be able to do work along those lines, this is similarly a powerful ally now. Also, due to its viney nature, as I had talked about to my patrons in their exclusive video previously, if you are unable to find woodbine or that variety of honeysuckle, this is a great substitute to use in binding work, because it's really good at holding things fast and hanging onto them and climbing over them and making them disappear. And so in that nature, that's something that you need to be able to do in your work. This is a great plant to make friends with. I hope that's helpful to everybody. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. Hit me up in the comments or support me on Patreon at patreon.com/witchyweeds. And I will see you all next Wednesday. Bye-bye.